Wrestling fans, promoters, wrestlers, and anyone who enjoys pro wrestling now have something new to be excited about. The Wrestling Fans International Association, the WFIA, is back. WFIA is an association that exists to promote, grow, and support professional wrestling throughout the world. Membership is free. Your membership includes a free digital bi-monthly publication of the Wrestling Fan News newsletter, association updates, voting privileges, and much more. Please go to thewfia.org, that's THEWFIA.org, and become a member today.
And we're live, baby. Ladies and gentlemen, making their way to the ring, it's the sensational Sam Housen and the one and only Intimidating Tim. Together, they are the tour guides to Slamtown. These two gentlemen have been approached by a mysterious benefactor known only as RDS. And he has tasked these two young men with taking you, the believers, on a tour of Slamtown, USA. So join us on today's episode.
Woo!
Oh, man, Tim, it is good to hear your voice, buddy. How are you doing
Good
today?
to hear you too, man. I am doing fantastic. It's a great day. I am looking forward to this. And frankly, I'm pumped. I'm not going to sugarcoat it. I'm pumped.
I'm not going to sugarcoat it either. Episode 1, I'm feeling good, dude. I am feeling good. Episode 1 of Welcome to Slamtown.
Woohoo.
Oh, boy. Before we get started on the main topic today, which is WWE NXT's Great American Bash and WWE Summerslam 2023, I just wanted to bring up some wrestling news that's not exactly actual sports entertainment related. Did you hear that WWE is once again collaborating with Fortnite?
Oh, really now? Once again. What was the first collaboration?
Last summer during the Undercover Summer event, they brought John Cena into the game.
Oh, that's right.
As a purchasable skin. This year, they posted a teaser on their social medias yesterday, and it said, coming soon from another universe, and it showed a WWE title belt in the purple Fortnite colors, and the Fortnite leaks have revealed that the two skins coming to the game are going to be Bianca Belair and the Man, Becky Lynch.
Ooh, that is exciting. That's a great pair to include.
That is an exciting collaboration. Finally, I will get to see Becky Lynch with gun, like I've always wanted.
My dreams have come true.
Finally, WWE got my emails. Becky Lynch with gun.
Let's hear it for Becky Lynch with gun.
Clap it up, Becky Lynch with gun. Oh man, are you ready to talk Great American Bash, buddy?
Yeah, dude. Let's hop headfirst into this.
Let's do it. So, all bias aside, between the two shows we're going to talk about tonight, I think Great American Bash was the one I enjoyed better of the two.
Yeah, I have to agree with you there. We were talking about it a little bit, and it was just a lot more exciting, I feel.
It wasn't like big show feel leading up to it, but I think the matches they put on with the NXT wrestlers they chose to showcase put together a better premium live event than they did for SummerSlam. A lot of the main roster feuds they have going on, some of them weren't covered at SummerSlam, but those feuds had better build-up and storyline than what they chose to use at SummerSlam.
Right.
So before we talk fully about SummerSlam, we're going to go in order of matches for Great American Bash. I know neither you nor I watched the kickoff show, so we won't be talking about the 8-person mixed tag match between Nathan Frazier, Yulissa Leone, Valentina Feroz, and Dragon Lee. facing the Metaphor, which is Noam Dar, Jakara Jackson, Lash Legend, and Aura Mensa. The results for that match were Frazier, Leon, Faraz, and Dragon Lee won by pinfall. I didn't know this match was going to be on the kickoff show, so I never checked it out.
Never even saw it coming.
I mean, on paper, it sounded cool. I like Dragon Lee. I like Nathan Frazier. It's like, it just seemed weird that they were like, this is on the thing. And then last minute, like, hey, kickoff show, that half an hour of pretty much what we do on this podcast before the actual show starts.
Right. Make sure you tune in.
Oh, man. Hey, guys, make sure you tune in for the main event, the big show, the one where the big boys come to play. So the first match we will be discussing is The Family, Tony D'Angelo and Channing Stacks Lorenzo versus the NXT Tag Team Champions, Gallus, the team of Wolfgang and Mark Coffey, for the NXT Tag Team Championships.
I gotta say, coming into this, I'm not super familiar with the NXT roster, but I freaking loved The Family, especially Tony D'Angelo. Just like the idea of like this like Italian mob boss leader. It was just so funny, like to watch him wrestle and just like throw Stacks like his underling around. Like, dude, it was like so
literally throw him around.
Literally.
Oh my god! Yeah, the spot where he just like I think he tossed him over the top rope onto Gallus, if I remember correctly.
Right.
And he tossed him like a sack of potatoes, for lack of a better term. Just picked him up, tossed him over the top rope, and he splashed onto the guys on the outside. It's always a cool spot when a wrestler uses another wrestler as a weapon.
Right.
It's just so much fun. And the storyline leading up to this match was that Tony D'Angelo was in prison because there was a rat in his family. Like, someone accused him of this crime. He got arrested and, quote unquote, spent a couple months in jail. The weeks on NXT leading up to this, you were supposed to believe that it was Stacks, his underling, that did it. But you come to find out it was actually the guys from Gallus had planted this false evidence, and Stacks had figured it out. So he was like, there's no rat, it's Gallus. Like, I'm going to get you out of jail. And that's how they got this tag title match.
A little detective work on Stacks' end is what you're saying.
Yeah, a little Sherlock Holmesing on his part.
Very nice.
So when they entered, and before their music hit, there were all those rats scurrying on the Jumbotron. I thought that was just like a perfect end to this storyline about a rat in his family. Like, there's just a bunch of rats all over the screen, scurrying, chittering.
Makes sense.
Yeah. And then this was a great opener for the entire show. Like,
Agreed.
It just set the bar. Like, Gallus came out in like their soccer jersey looking things. Those were cool. If I could buy those on WWE Shop, I would. But alas, I cannot. But yeah, I think this match was a great opener. It really set the pace for a good show. There are a few matches further down the line that I think they didn't derail the show. They just kind of slowed down the momentum, more or less. But yeah, again, this match was a great opener. And one thing also I wanted to mention, there was one point in this match where Tony D'Angelo hit a belly-to-belly suplex on Mark Coffey. He got so much height on it, it looked like Coffey was going to, like, hit the rafters or something. It was one of the coolest belly-to-belly suplexes I've ever seen.
He got up there. Man's got jumps.
I wrote down that there was this cool where is an airplane spin, and then the other guy connected with a running knee. I don't think I've ever seen that in a match by them before, but I wrote down that was a cool move. Really like that. Yeah, and then the Family winning the tag team titles. I did not have that on my Great American Bash bingo card, but I'm glad it did happen. I think it was a good way to
to wrap the story.
Finish this storyline. Yeah, like they got out of jail, they're ready, they're back in their home, they win the title, everyone's celebrating.
They're gonna go home and have some gabagool.
Yeah, where's all the gabagoo?
Hey,
I gabagoo. It's like an episode of The Sopranos. It's great.
that's what I was thinking. Tony Soprano
think
in the flesh.
it was either the NXT right before or the NXT after where they were celebrating their title win, or either they were like hyping up the match or something, and they had their actual family, quote unquote, in the ring with them. And it's like paid background actors and stuff. I'm sitting there watching. I'm like, I recognize that guy. He was playing like the cousin or something. I'm like, I know that guy from somewhere. Where do I know him? I'm scrolling through Instagram the next day, and one of these Instagram accounts I follow that posts like the new snacks that are out at Disney World. It's the guy from that Instagram account. Like, his name's Jay. He's like the theme park foodie. He
wild crossover.
Right, but like I only knew him as this theme park snack guy, and then I keep scrolling through his Instagram. He's like an amateur independent wrestler from Philadelphia.
Yo. Oh my
gosh!
Like,
what are the chances? Like, that's insane. I don't know if he still wrestles. The photos look like they were from a few years ago, maybe like pre-COVID. But still, I was like, what are the chances this guy I watched eat the new Mickey Mouse shaped churro or whatever is now on WWE that I'm watching? You know,
that is something I would never have put on my bingo card.
And I'm gonna put this out there now. This match was almost my match of the night, but
oh wow,
it narrowly was beaten out by something we're going to talk about further down the card.
All right, let's get rolling through the card then.
Heck yeah, my friend. And with that, we're going to move into Roxanne Perez versus Blair Davenport in a Weapons Wild match. I like when WWE gives a fun name to something that's basically just, this is a no disqualification match, but we didn't want to call it a no disqualification match.
Right. It's like, hey, we like alliteration. We'll call it Weapons Wild.
Weapons Wild. That's so cool. Check it out, guys. This one, I thought this match was pretty decent. In the build-up to this match, so Roxanne Perez was famously trained by Booker T. He does commentary now for NXT.
Oh, yeah.
And when Booker T was at his, like, one of the high points of his career in the Attitude Era, he feuded with Stone Cold Steve Austin. And there's an infamous moment where Stone Cold Steve Austin is shopping in a grocery store, and Booker T attacks him in the grocery store.
That's
and they're
right.
Like,
that's right. I've seen that
hitting
clip.
each other with produce, and he like dumps a gallon of milk on Booker's head and stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
In the build up to this, they
that was what
did
they were
like an homage.
Right?
Yeah. Roxanne attacked Blair in like the 7-Eleven looking thing. Oh my! I was like, oh, that's a fun touch. Like Booker T got her into wrestling, and that's cool. Like a nice way to honor your trainer, your wrestling dad, quote unquote.
We love deep lore like that. It's always fun to.
We love wrestling dads. Yeah. Do with that what you will, the internet.
Yeah, this I love matches that start just like straight out of the gate, like either with like a surprise attack or like they're just off right away and they have to ring the bell right away. I don't know. I just feel like it's more fun when they just jump right into the action like that. That's how this one started.
It starts off with a bang. It's just go. You know, yeah. I liked the sneak attack from the crowd, taking the photo with her family. I was like, something's gonna be up. Something's up with this guy in the Dr. Wagner mask. And then Blair Davenport was just standing next to him, just popped out the crowd and started fighting. Oh man.
So did you have a favorite weapon that they used? Because I have a favorite weapon that they used.
Ooh. Yeah, what was your favorite weapon?
I loved it when they brought out a cowbell.
Yes, I wrote that down too.
I wrote it down too. I was like, is that a cowbell? And it wasn't. I was like, oh man, I love this. It's a cowbell.
And I think at one point they used a branding iron too.
Yeah,
like, brand somebody, but like they hit each other with it.
Right. Which makes sense, they're in Texas, so
Yeah,
it's fun
and
little theming.
one thing about the cowbell on the bull rope, before he passed, the American Dream, Dusty Rhodes, he was like the general manager for NXT for like the longest time. So he'd make all the matches, write the storylines, all this stuff. He was like famous for competing in these things called Texas bull rope matches. Basically is what it is. Like, it's two wrestlers, one-on-one. They get their wrist is tied off with a piece of rope, and then there's a cowbell in the middle, like a big tug of war rope almost. And the other end of the rope is tied to the other wrestler's wrist. So they're tied together by the wrist. You can use the rope and the bell as a weapon, and to win, you have to touch all 4 turnbuckles without interruption.
That's
So I
very
thought
interesting. I like that win condition.
Yeah, they were fun. They don't do them as much anymore. I think the last one they did in the WWE was back in like late 2000s, pre 2010s, and it was Dusty Rhodes versus Randy Orton. I just remember, I think Dusty bled, and he was at that point in time like almost already in his 70s.
Gosh.
It's like, oh man, maybe don't have your Hall of Famer come on and bleed that much, but like, credit to him for wanting to do it.
Yeah.
But still,
yeah,
like,
sure.
you're in your 70s, dog. I thought this match was very fun. The bull rope was a nice touch to the American Dream. What was the other thing I wrote? Oh, I noticed that Blair Davenport spent a lot of time setting up a big pile of chairs in the ring to like
Yes.
slam Roxanne into.
Yeah.
9 times out of 10, whoever puts out the big stack of chairs or sets up the table, sets the table on fire, whatever, the person who physically sets it up and is like, I can't wait to slam them through it, they're the ones that end up getting slammed through it.
Yep. Karma strikes back.
Yeah, right? That's not what you use a picnic table for. You gotta set out a
supposed to eat
lunch.
with this table in half.
Yeah, right. I said, I can't eat my picnic lunch if y'all break the table. What the hell? What the hell?
What the hell?
And another thing I really liked was the ending spot when Roxanne hit her finisher, the Pop Rocks, into the stack of chairs. Oh my god, that was so cool! Like, just anything that makes like my spine tense, like makes my back hurt, and I'm just watching it. It's good to me. Like, that sounds dope.
Automatic win in Sam's book.
10 out of 10. Well, maybe like a 9.75. But anyway.
You know what's not a 10 out of 10? The next match on the card.
Match? If we could even call it a match.
Yeah.
Oh my god.
Oh man.
I wrote one note for this entire match. And
what was
it's
that
just
one
3
note?
letters, 3 words. This is stupid. The next match on the card is Olympic gold medalist Gable Steveson making his WWE debut versus Baron Corbin. This was just, oh my god.
Yeah, it was rough.
You know, the fans are against a wrestler if they start cheering Baron Corbin. That guy has been getting shit on for years by the fans and by WWE. You book him as the heel to face an American gold medalist, and the gold medalist is getting booed in favor of him?
Yeah, that's when you know you messed up.
Oh my god. This was just boring? They're trying to do Kurt Angle again. And it's like, every time a wrestler is like, I have a collegiate wrestling background, I have an amateur wrestling background, they're like, we know what to do. Kurt again. It was just, oh my god.
It's like, it's not original. It wasn't fun to watch. I'm pretty sure they cut it short because the crowd was not having any of it. And then
To top it all off, it ended in a double countout.
Right.
I went downstairs to get a glass of water while this match was on, and when I came back up, it was over, and they were just like brawling on the outside. I was like, "What the hell happened?" And
What did
then
I miss?
Booker T and Tom were like, "Oh, it was double countout." It's like, that's fucking stupid.
Yeah,
Oh my god!
it was
Like,
something else.
you're billing this guy like I've said it a lot because this is literally all they've ever said about Gable Steveson, an Olympic gold medalist. He won the Olympics. He did the Olympics. Did you know the Olympics? And you
I think
have
this guy
him
might have been at the Olympics.
like, what the hell? Double count out? Not
Right.
even a victory? No contest? Like
what was the point of any of it?
it's just stupid. And a lot of the people were booing him. I don't want to like bring up anything like negative or bad, but he has some like sex assault allegations against himself in real life.
I was reading about
That's
that.
why people were booing him. Like, this guy's got these allegations against him, and you're touting him as a hero on television. It's like, what about
how
that
did they think it was
person?
going to go over?
Right. Like, what about this person that these things allegedly happened to? Like, and they're seeing this man who did it to them, he's a hero. He's the spirit of America. Yeah, hell yeah. And it's like, read the fucking room.
Right. Oh my gosh.
This is
absolutely
stupid.
Like brain dead decision making.
Oh my god. I was like, if we just talk about how he's in the Olympics and he's making his WWE debut, they'll just forget. I was like, don't fucking sweep that shit under the rug, man.
Right.
That's
Louise.
That's stupid. This match was one of the two matches I absolutely hated, and I'm not even calling this one a match. This segment was dumb as hell.
Yeah, segment is a much better name for it.
I feel like it was going to be a filler match if it actually ended up being a match, but it was just there. It just happened. Like, it didn't feel like anything.
See, why couldn't they have put this in the pre-show broadcast and then include the person in the regular one? That would have been so much better.
These 8 people who are on weekly NXT television on the main card, not this guy who's shown up twice in the entire 2 years he's been under WWE contract.
Right.
Like, when they announced Gable Steveson was coming to the WWE, they drafted him first round to Monday Night Raw. And for an entire year, he never debuted. He never did anything. He just showed up with Stephanie McMahon one night and was like, hey, I'm here. I'm on Raw. That was it. They released T-shirts. Year goes by, no match, no update on training. A month ago, he shows up on NXT. There's a wrestler in NXT by the name of Damon Kemp. Damon Kemp is Gable Stevenson's real-life younger brother. He shows up to be the trainer for the guy who's feuding with his little brother. And then they're like, hey, he's going to announce his future plans on the next episode. It's dumb.
It's wild. It's like none of that makes any sense.
Oh my god. All right. And now that the pin is in the whole Gable Steveson thing, we're moving on to what I have voted as my match of the night. Dirty Dominic Mysterio.
I'd have to agree with you there. Yeah.
It was so good, dude. Dirty Dom Mysterio defending his NXT North American Championship in a triple threat against former champion Wes Lee and Mustafa Ali. Dude, I love this friggin' match. The Judgment Day is literally the hottest thing in WWE right now.
I cannot get enough of them. Like, anytime they're in something, like, I'm like, hey, I gotta watch this. Like, they're just so fun.
Oh
Everyone
my God.
loves them.
Literally, they are running the show. Dominic Mysterio is the current NXT North American champion. So, spoiler, he retains at this pay-per-view. Rhea Ripley, people can't get enough of Rhea Ripley.
Literally, yeah.
She's the women's champion. She's all over TikTok and social media. She's doing press tours. She's like arguably the face of the company right now.
I would say so, yeah.
Finn Balor is the number one contender for the World Heavyweight Championship. He's in main title contention. Damian Priest is Mr. Money in the Bank. Him and
Correction.
Dom recently...
He is Senor Money in the Bank.
Senor. You're right. Senor Money in the Bank. Like, Judgment Day is on top of the company right now.
They are.
And I love it. I was surprised that Dom won the title. Like, did not see this coming.
Yeah, I honestly felt like it could have gone any way because he has only been holding it for like less than a month at this point, right? Like it hasn't been like a super long run.
So he won it the week before the Great American Bash on that episode of NXT.
Okay. Yeah, so like it's still pretty early.
It's only like 2.5, 3 weeks into his reign.
Right. So I guess like it could have made sense for him to drop it. It could have made sense for him to retain.
And that's the thing. Like in the recent year of NXT, they've brought main roster people down to NXT to work with the talents, like as enhancement, help them get over, help them work on promos, that kind of thing. At NXT Vengeance Day, which was right around February 14th, the New Day, on NXT Deadline, which I believe was the last show of 2022 before 2023 started, the New Day defeated Pretty Deadly to win the NXT Tag Team Championships. They held it from Deadline, which was sometime in December, to NXT Vengeance Day, which was the first premium live event held in front of a stadium audience. It was the first one they went on the road with.
Oh, exciting.
So they lost the title at Vengeance Day. That's only give or take a month between these two shows.
Right.
So it seems like when a main roster guy wins a title, they only hold it for a little bit to bring some eyes to said title. Because it's like, oh, the New Day is in NXT. Holy crap, they're the longest reigning tag team champions in history, and they just came down here and won this NXT title. Like, I'm going to watch NXT now. I love the New Day. It feels like when they put a main roster guy with the title that they're only a transitional champion. So they won it from Pretty Deadly. They didn't want Pretty Deadly to, like, lose all the momentum. So they put it on the New Day. New Day held it for a month. And that's who Gallus beat to win the tag team titles and held it until they just lost it to the family at this show. So it feels like Dom could drop the title next week all of a sudden. But since he's in the Judgment Day, it feels like this is going to be the champion until they decide Judgment Day isn't the hot thing anymore.
Right. Because then whoever defeats him for it, like, you know,
it's got to be someone big.
Like, they're going to have a lot of eyes on them. Yeah.
Right.
This is a fantastic analysis.
Thank you. I tried. And
I will say
the week...
Oh, sorry,
go ahead. I was just going to say the week that Dom Mysterio won the NXT North American Championship, he became the first person to appear on Monday Night Raw, or main event Monday Night Raw, NXT, and Friday Night SmackDown in the same week.
That's wild.
The night before, on Monday night, him and Damian Priest challenged for the Unified Tag Team Championships in the main event of Raw. Did not win. The following night on NXT, he main evented in the North American title match and won the title off of Wes Lee. Fast forward to Friday Night SmackDown, he defended the title in the main event against Pete Dunne.
Kid is working hard.
When Dominic Mysterio first debuted, everyone was like, oh, he's just a nepotism baby. He's a nepo baby. Like, this kid only got signed on name alone and because his father is Rey Mysterio.
Right.
He's proven so many people wrong. He's grown like leaps and bounds since his debut, where he was just Rey's kid. Mm-hmm. He's his own wrestler now. It's just... Oh my God. Like, the kid's got talent aside from just being Rey Mysterio's kid. That's insane.
I also like how, like, his style is, like, very different from Rey's. Like, obviously he's not like a luchador like wrestler, but I feel like he's kind of his own character. Exactly.
He generates a reaction almost always negative, but he generates a reaction. He gets the crowd interested. He gets them hyped up. He gets them talking. This kid is putting numbers in for the WWE.
Mm-hmm.
And I can call him a kid because he's younger than I am.
So we can say that.
Yeah. But yeah, other than that, this match was just wall to wall my favorite thing of this entire show.
Yeah.
Wesley is great. I've loved him since he debuted as a member of, I think they were called MSK. Him and his partner Zach Wentz, who's no longer with the company for alleged racist things that he did in his past. The tag team was called MSK, the Marijuana Smoking Kids. And they were tag team champions when his partner got released. So they vacated the tag titles, and this set Wesley on a singles career where he won the North American title. I believe it was at Halloween Havoc in a 6-man ladder match. And then I got to Google it, but I'm pretty sure Wesley was the longest reigning North American champion up until this, like, then he lost it to Dom. Yeah.
Dang.
But yeah, this match was good. It was high flying. It was fun. Anytime Mustafa Ali is on, it's usually a good match. He hasn't had the best luck as a main roster superstar, but his run in NXT so far has been pretty decent. There was one spot in the match where Wesley and Dom were like hanging off the bottom rope outside onto the apron.
Oh, yeah.
Mustafa Ali hit a 450. Well, he attempted a 450 because the two of them got out of the way and he just smacked into the ring apron.
Yeah,
that looked
hard.
Oh my God. That was so friggin' cool.
It was.
Like, Ali is great. The guy's got talent. Put a title on him. Like, let him get the run he needs.
Mm-hmm.
It's a shame to see that they don't give title runs to people who are legitimately talented and could do it. Not to say that people who are champions aren't deserving of it, but sometimes they put the belt on the same guy time after time.
Right.
And Mustafa Ali's put in work for the company, and he's never gotten as far as I know, I don't think he's ever been champion. He might have been a cruiserweight champion when that title still existed, but again, I'd have to look it up. He's just so talented.
Time's long overdue, is what we're saying.
And one other thing I wrote down, Dominic Mysterio has one of the most impressive frog splashes I've ever seen.
Oh, dude, he gets so high up there, and he, like, fully, like, extends his body, like, when he goes out for it. It's wild.
Oh, it's so good. There was so one of the first times you ever saw Dominic on WWE television, I think it was in 2005, there was a ladder match at SummerSlam, and the storyline was that Rey Mysterio was not Dominic's father. Dominic's real father was allegedly Eddie Guerrero. So the ladder match was for custody of Dominic Mysterio.
That is such a funny concept that, like, I can't imagine them ever doing today.
Right. It's something from the weird 2000s of wrestling. So in a ladder match, there's usually an item suspended above the ring on a big clip, and you climb the ladder, you take it off, and you win. What was suspended above the ring in this match was custody papers.
So
quote
exciting.
unquote, officially drawn up custody papers for this child. So that match, it's infamous. People still talk about it. We're still talking about it.
It lives on.
Rey Mysterio won, kept custody of his child, allegedly.
I think that the U.S. judiciary system should learn a thing or two, because maybe that's how we should handle all custody cases from now on.
Right. Should have run it by him. It doesn't seem like WWE could just say, hey, this kid's up for adoption.
Right.
So one of the jokes that Mustafa Ali made leading up to this pay-per-view to Dominic was, It was something along the lines. He was like, "You stole your daddy's 619, and you stole your other daddy's frog splash," because Eddie Guerrero's finisher was the frog splash.
Right.
Oh, another thing. Eddie Guerrero used to do this. It's called the Three Amigos. He just hits 3 suplexes very quickly.
Mm-hmm.
The double Three Amigos.
6
When,
suplexes? Or
no, are Wesley and Ali.
when he did both
Wesley
of
and
them.
Mustafa Ali suplex Dominic 3 times together.
Right.
So double suplex. That was great. I popped so friggin' hard for that.
The one moment that I wrote down that I loved seeing was when Rhea put Wesley through the announcer's table.
Yes. Oh my
It was like
God.
badass.
Rhea, look at you. I am wearing a Rhea Ripley t-shirt right now.
Oh,
It
do I
says,
sense some
"Mommy's
favoritism?
always on top." Yeah, I have a little bit of favoritism for the Judgment Day.
Nah, that's
My
right. We
dad
love
doesn't like where I wear this shirt because he says, "Oh, what a lovely sentiment," but in a sarcastic way.
that.
Oh, Ralph. Classic Ralph.
Classic.
We only have 2 more matches to talk about on this show, and then we will be hitting up WWE SummerSlam.
SummerSlam.
The slam of the summer, baby. So next up, we have the NXT Women's Championship submission match. Tiffany Stratton defending against Thea Hale of Chase University. Submission match. Only way to win is by getting your opponent to tap out to a submission. No pinfalls, no countouts. Or there might be countouts, but no pinfalls. You got to win by submission. This was the only other match I was bored during.
Yeah, submission matches are kind of harder because I feel like watching someone submit isn't as exciting as like anticipating like a 3 count or something like that.
Right.
It's just I don't know. It's just hard to put on an exciting match when you have that stipulation.
And usually a submission match is between 2 wrestlers who like that's their thing, like they're submission specialists.
Right.
So it's more of a technical contest, but only one of these wrestlers is like a technical wrestler. Thea Hale. Tiffany Stratton is like power moves and backflips off the top rope and choke slams and everything. She's like a bodybuilding Barbie. It wasn't a good fit for Stratton, I thought.
Yeah. I liked the story, it seemed. Again, only knowing the story from, just what they were kind of showing before the matches. But, it seemed like Thea was kind of an underdog looking to like finally come up and prove something. And, she would have won it. She would have been the youngest, I think.
Yes,
NXT Women's Champion.
19 years old. She would have been the youngest ever champion to win the title.
Yeah. So like that would have been cool, but again, it's it was an exciting premise, but it's maybe not the best match type for it.
Yeah, again, you got to have 2 wrestlers whose submissions are their thing to really entice me to a submission match.
Right.
And again, the ending was kind of dumb on this one. Andre Chase threw in the towel for Thea.
Yeah.
So Tiffany Stratton won on a technical submission. Yeah. Like, it just... This and the Gable Steveson thing were the only 2 like low points I thought in this entire show. But yeah, I don't have much more to say about this one.
Yeah. I mean, it was a pretty long match, but not really a standout moment, I guess.
This was 11 minutes and 45 seconds long.
Yeah,
and the shortest thing of the entire show, believe it or not, was Steveson and Corbin at 6 minutes and 30 seconds.
What? No way. You're telling me the match where there was a double count out and no one was having any of it was the shortest?
Yeah, crazy.
Yeah, who would have thought?
Longest match of the night was the main event, which we're talking about now. Carmelo Hayes with Trick Williams defending his NXT championship against Ilya Dragunov. This match was the main event of the pay-per-view for the NXT championship, 24 minutes and 7 seconds long.
Yeah, like props to both these guys because they both went the distance. It was insane.
I thought this was one of, I think, the best NXT title match of the entire recent run of NXT was at NXT Stand and Deliver, Carmelo Hayes versus Braun Breaker, which is where Carmelo finally beat Braun and won the title. Stand and Deliver is like their WrestleMania weekend show, so it's like quote unquote the WrestleMania for NXT guys. But yeah, this match was a banger. Like,
Yeah.
I love Dragunov. He used to, when NXT UK was still a regular part of WWE programming, he was an NXT UK champion. Unfortunately, had to vacate the title due to an injury. But you know the Intercontinental Champion Walter or Gunther. I'm sorry.
Yeah, Gunther.
When Gunther wrestled in WWE NXT UK, he wrestled under the name Walter. That's his name from the independents. It's also his legal first name. So when he came to the main roster, he changed it to Gunther because he didn't want to lose the rights to Walter as a ring name because that is his name, basically.
That makes sense.
Ilya Dragunov, Gunther was the longest reigning NXT UK champion, putting back challenger after challenger. Dragunov was the guy who took the title off of Gunther. He was the one who beat the unbeatable.
Oh, props to him.
And he's just talent. Like, he's got the speed, he's got strength, he's technical, he can high fly, he can do it. He can go.
Yeah, very well rounded. He can do it all.
He was my pick to win, because I think sooner rather than later, Carmelo Hayes is going to make it to the main roster. I don't think they'll send him to the main roster still holding the NXT title, but at the same time, I think they'll send him up while he's still champion, so he has to vacate it and won't lose momentum by losing said title.
That would be a smart move.
So I don't know if you were watching when the Hurt Business was a faction.
They sound familiar.
It was during like COVID era. It was Bobby Lashley when he was WWE champion, MVP, Shelton Benjamin, and Cedric Alexander. They were just like running. They were just like a group of big dudes beating people up, just putting a hurt on
train
people.
on everyone.
Yeah, basically. I think they're creating a new Hurt Business because recently the Street Profits on Friday Night SmackDown have turned heel and have aligned themselves with Bobby Lashley. Mm-hmm. I think they're going to call up Carmelo and make him the fourth guy in this new Hurt Business.
Ooh.
So part of me thinks if they call him up with the title, they might have him hold on to it a little bit so the group has a title, but there might be some shenanigans where he has to vacate it since he's technically not on NXT anymore.
Love shenanigans.
Shenanigans. He's just so talented. Like, he's the best wrestler on NXT, Carmelo Hayes.
Right.
That's why he's champion.
And that's why they had a main event?
Right. I didn't write a lot of notes about this match because this was only really the only match aside from the triple threat where I was just glued to the TV and like forgot to write stuff down, you know?
Right. And the one thing that I recall from it was there was a moment where they both hit like double super kicks simultaneously on each other.
Oh yeah.
It was really cool to see.
Anytime wrestlers hit the same move on each other at the same time, it's always a fun spot.
Right.
Like a clotheslining each other at the same time or hitting a crossbody on each other at the same time.
Yeah.
Super kick, real cool.
Really cool.
One thing I did write down, there was like a point where Carmelo went to do like a springboard attack, like he jumped off the ropes and like his back was facing Dragunov, and Dragunov just caught him around the waist and then like knelt down and suplexed him.
Yeah.
Oh my God, that's impressive. Brutal. like a short suplex. Like I don't even know how to describe it, but like he caught him in the air, dropped to his knees, and then flipped him over his head.
He's just making up moves at that point.
You're so much closer to the ground, so I feel like it would hurt, and the hurt would come a lot quicker than if you were dropped from his full height.
Right.
Like, I think both situations would hurt because it's Ilya Dragunov. But being so low to the ground and then abruptly just having your neck and shoulders snapped into it. Ugh.
Ugh. Sends a shiver down my spine.
Oogly boogly.
Took the words right out of my mouth.
That made my scoliosis act up. Ugh.
Really,
my shoulders are uneven. Oh no, I have osteoporosis. Yeah, did you have a match of the night for this pay-per-view?
Honestly, probably same as you. The triple threat. It was just so much fun. I just loved it. But
yes,
very close second was the NXT Championship match.
Gable Stevenson. Oh,
you read my mind.
How did you know?
If anyone said that wasn't their favorite night, they're a favorite match of the night. They're a fake fan.
I'm reading something right here on Wikipedia that Stevenson and Corbin was awarded 1.5 stars, like out of 5
wow.
on a rating thing. It's like, no. How about 0? How about 0?
Yeah, that's pretty generous.
That's being nice. These men worked hard.
Yeah, those were the matches, though. I mean, it was a fun show for sure. I think I've watched a few NXT shows with you, like when they would do like takeover events. I don't know if those were like PLEs or PPVs per se.
So yeah, those were kind of like PLEs. Yeah, it was like NXT would take over the network for a night, and here's like a big showcase of all our hot guys right now. That's kind of what these events like Great American Bash and the upcoming... Oh, they're bringing back No Mercy as a premium live event. It's the next NXT one.
That's right.
That's kind of what these have replaced. These have replaced the takeovers.
Right.
Yeah, my favorite NXT takeover of all time was the War Games show. That was my favorite one every year.
Ooh.
Oh, so good. Yeah. It's just... Yeah. I love a match where there's just big weapons and stupid gimmicks, and it's fun.
It's so fun. It's so fun. How can you not have a fun time with that?
Well, I'm just a having fun little fun guy. I'm just having fun.
Just having fun. Hey, don't stop me from having fun. I'm just having fun here.
And don't harsh my mellow, bro, chacho.
Don't rain on my parade.
Don't rain on my parade. Speaking of bro chachos, we are now moving on to WWE Summerslam, a show opened by Logan Paul of the famous Paul brothers.
My favorite group? Wait a second, they're not wrestlers.
I love the duo of Logan Paul and Jake Paul. Still to this day, I don't know which one is which, so sometimes I'm like, oh wow, Jake Paul in WWE, and then the teenagers at work are like, do you mean Logan? I think so.
The one with the muscles.
That's both of them. What?
What?
What are you talking about?
I will say, I do think that anyone that they pair with Ricochet, like, it's bound to be a good show just because, like, he just has such great, like, jumps and air moves, and he's just very, like, performative to watch. But it's just so weird to have Logan Paul be, like, the opening match.
So, SummerSlam opened with Logan Paul versus Ricochet. There is a real-life reason why they put this match on first.
Oh, do tell.
Logan's brother, Jake, was boxing Nate Diaz that night. So Logan asked if the match could go on first. It went on for 18 minutes. He beat Ricochet using a brass knuckle cheap shot. Mm-hmm. And then you know how sometimes on their Instagram or TikTok they post the behind, like the backstage, and they like interview the wrestler like, "Oh, Logan, do you have anything to say about using the brass knuckles against Ricochet?" It was Logan Paul in the back of a Cadillac Escalade, and he's like, "Oh, I can't talk right now. I got to get to my brother's flight, or my brother's fight." SummerSlam was in Detroit, Michigan,
Right.
and Jake Paul's boxing match was somewhere in Texas, I think Dallas or San Antonio. Logan got into a car after the match, got driven to a private jet, and flown to his brother's boxing match.
That's
So
wild.
if you watch the boxing match or like look at afterwards, and it shows Jake, I think Jake won, so it's like him celebrating in the ring with all his boys. You can see Logan still standing there in his ring gear from the SummerSlam match.
That's insane. It's crazy to think that he has that much pull where he can make a request like that and like kind of like not modified, but I don't know, just the fact that he's able to have that much leverage in a way.
Yeah, right. I will say it is a tough pill to swallow saying Logan Paul is a talented wrestler.
Right. He definitely is. He's very athletic, and he works well in the ring with certain talent.
And I think the reason they booked, well, I don't think, this is the reason they booked him with Ricochet, is they booked him against a mid-card guy because they wanted to give him a win. Every other feud he's been in, except the one with The Miz, he's lost. He beat The Miz at last year's SummerSlam and then beat Ricochet at this year's SummerSlam. Because after he debuted at WrestleMania 2 years ago, teaming with The Miz to fight Rey Mysterio and Dom. They won, and then The Miz turned on him.
Right.
After that, he fought The Miz at SummerSlam. He challenged Roman Reigns at Crown Jewel in Saudi Arabia for the Universal title. He fought Seth Rollins at WrestleMania. And then he fought Ricochet. Oh, and he was in the Money in the Bank and the Royal Rumble.
Mm-hmm.
But leading up to this match with Ricochet, he did have a spot with Ricochet in the Royal Rumble where they were on opposite sides of the ring. They springboarded off the top ropes and collided midair in a crossbody.
That's such an impressive spot to go back and rewatch. Just extremely high risk, but they executed it. It's crazy to watch.
I think it might have been the WWE clip that quickly went viral, the quickest to go viral. And then he also had that big table spot with Ricochet in the Money in the Bank in London.
Right.
I'm sorry, Money in the Bank in it. That's what it was called.
Hey, quids in the bank.
Tuesday in it. Sorry, Britain, if you're listening. But yeah, I thought, Tim, I'm not gonna lie, Logan Paul versus Ricochet, that was my favorite match of this whole show. After this, I was bored.
He was bored. Yeah, it was exciting. Like I was saying, they both were getting so much air on their jumps and aerial moves, which is always fun to see.
And much like Dominic Mysterio, Logan Paul gets a lot of heat when he comes to the ring, which even heat is positive in terms of wrestling. It's a reaction. It's something people want to see,
Right.
So this match, the crowd was pretty lit for, and then I felt like it just died. It died out. They lost interest after this match.
Yeah.
So the next match on the card, we've got Cody Rhodes versus Brock Lesnar in Cody versus Brock 3. So this trilogy of matches, well, the first one, I believe, was it the one at Backlash? I think it was in Backlash in Puerto Rico. Cody Rhodes beat Brock Lesnar in a main event.
Yes.
And then the second one was at some other show. It wasn't Money in the Bank because Cody fought Dom at that.
Was it the one in Saudi Arabia?
I think so.
Was that Crown Jewel?
Oh,
or
yes, that was this. Yeah, the same night where Seth Rollins won the World Heavyweight title.
That's right.
Yes, Night of Champions, which Brock won. So that put the feud at 1-1. And then this was the rubber match, the winner of the feud.
The tiebreaker, if you will.
Yeah, it was just Brock pushing Cody out of the ring a couple times and being like, stay down, don't come back in. And then he went out and F5'd him. And then it felt like Cody just went in and hit the crossroads a couple times and won the match.
Yeah.
For how little few things I can remember in this match, I'm looking here on Wikipedia. According to them, this match went on for almost 18 minutes. And all I can remember is Cody hitting the 3 crossroads.
I'm sure more than half of that time was Brock just watching Cody outside of the ring, like struggling to get back in.
Yeah. And I think Logan Paul versus Ricochet was the match of the night, but the moment of the night happened after Cody beat Brock.
Oh, 100% agree.
Brock shook his hand, pulled him in for a hug, and then raised his hand in victory.
Right. He like
completely unscripted.
As,
Brock
like,
just did that.
Worthy. Yeah.
Holy crap. Like, Brock has acknowledged he lost the feud, and it felt like he was passing the torch to Cody.
Right.
Like, Cody is going to be the next. He's already a big thing. Like, Cody left WWE, founded another company. They're arguably WWE's biggest rival in years, and then left that company to return to WWE to one of the biggest pops in recent memory.
Definitely.
He wrestled through a torn shoulder at last year's Hell in a Cell, returned at the Royal Rumble, and it's just been, it hasn't been like what a lot of people thought it was, which was Cody was going to beat Roman at WrestleMania and win the title. Even still, Cody is on Weekly. Cody is all over. Like, he is back, and I think something big is coming his way after this feud. I don't necessarily think he's going to beat Roman for this title, but something is going to come Cody's way. Is he going to be the one to take the title off of Seth? Maybe. I don't know, but Cody is big. He's huge.
Mm-hmm. And everyone loves him too. Like, he gets such a good reaction from everyone. Like, crowd favorite.
It's great to see him back in the WWE. His time in AEW was great. Like, it was fun to see him in outside companies. But he's back to one of the biggest pops and reactions he's ever had.
Right.
He's like, everything about him screams star. His look, his entrance, his cool-ass jacket.
Dude, I love his entrance.
Adrenaline in my soul. Something, Cody Rhodes. It's so good.
I could listen to his entrance just go on, like, for, like, hours. Like, if he just never started.
You sent me a text message one time, and you're like, Cody's entrance music could be 18 minutes long, and I'd play it on repeat.
Yes, 100%.
It's infectious. You hear it, and you're ready. You're ready to see a fight. You're ready to cheer. You're ready to boo. You're ready to do whatever. It's just...
I'm ready to get invested, man.
It goes hard. Oh, my God. But, like, aside from this being a disappointing match, I was glad that Cody was the one to win, and he won the rivalry.
Right.
So, we've only got a couple minutes left of record time, so we're very going to quickly move into the Slim Jim Summerslam Battle Royal.
Oh, boy. I sure do love Slim Jims. # sponsored.
Snap into a Slim Jim, my boy. So, I was reading a thing on Instagram. I don't know if this was true, but the winner of the Battle Royal got to appear in a Slim Jim's commercial.
Oh.
LA Knight, who's one of the most over people in the WWE right now, won this Battle Royal. Again, I think LA Knight should get a title on him sooner rather than later. Personally, I'd like to see him be the one to take the U.S. title off of Austin Theory. But because of LA Knight's age, he seems to think WWE isn't going to put a title on him anytime soon because he's too old, quote unquote.
Gotcha.
So LA Knight won the Battle Royal by eliminating Sheamus. Before the match started, MVP came out and was like, "Hey, everybody, Omos is back," and the crowd went mild.
That is a perfect way of describing it.
Nobody cares about Omos.
Right. It's like he's an impressive looking like figure, but I feel like I've never seen him win.
Like one of the WrestleManias during COVID, he teamed up with AJ Styles because when he debuted on the main roster, he was AJ's bodyguard. Him and Styles beat the New Day for the tag team titles.
Oh.
In his first match, he won the tag titles, and then it's been a career after that. He was the bodyguard on Raw Underground. He was a giant ninja in a pre-taped feud between the Viking Raiders and the Street Profits. And now he's just MVP's guy. Like, MVP is... There's a rumor if they bring back the Hurt Business, Omos would be in it because of him being MVP's client. And they did that fun Battle Royal spot where they're like, "Oh my God, there's a huge guy. All 10 of us have to work together."
Yeah, I feel like that always ends up happening.
It happened with the Great Khali. It happened with Mark Henry. It happened with the Big Show.
Big Show.
But the difference between Omos, Mark Henry, and Big Show, Mark Henry and Big Show could wrestle.
Right.
And I left Great Khali out because Great Khali also could not wrestle.
Yeah.
He, like Omos, was purely spectacle.
Just a big, tall dude.
But I was glad Omos didn't win. LA Knight allegedly won this Slim Jims commercial, but if you remember, as soon as the Battle Royal ended, the Slim Jims commercial aired.
Yeah. What's up
if
with
you're
that?
supposed to want me to believe that LA Knight won a Slim Jims contract, when did they film that commercial?
Exactly. I'm
Stupid.
starting to be a little suspicious, unless it's
Dummy.
like the shirts and the hats that they make for the Super Bowl winners, where they make copies of every possible outcome and they just get rid of the ones that they don't need. So what if they filmed 25 different Slim Jim commercials with each participant, and then they only aired the winning one?
And all those commercials and all those T-shirts are in the same landfill they found those E.T. Atari games in.
Exactly. And it's our mission to go unearth that footage.
Oh my God, Tim, I don't want to alarm you, but it says the Illuminati is calling me.
No!
He said I know too much.
It was good knowing you, man.
Oh my God, I'm being targeted.
Their laser beams are muddling my brain.
I just got a text from my FBI agent. It said run. So after the Battle Royal, we quickly move into the second shortest match of the night. Shayna Baszler versus Ronda Rousey in an MMA rules match.
Yeah,
I wrote the same note for this one as I did Gable Steveson and Baron Corbin. This was stupid.
Yeah.
This is allegedly Ronda Rousey's like send-off from the WWE.
Oh, interesting.
That she's done after this.
Going out on a, spoiler alert, going out on a loss.
Yeah, she lost by technical submission. I think Shayna choked her out or something and she passed out.
Right.
Like, this again was just not fun. It was quick. On Monday Night Raw, Baszler showed up with like just this huge black eye. That was kind of cool. But this match just wasn't fun. Ronda Rousey was one of the biggest flops in WWE. Like, they announced she had signed, and everybody was like, this is going to change the game. Ronda Rousey signed with the WWE. Next thing after this, Conor McGregor is going to come to the WWE. No, nope.
Yeah, where do you extrapolate that information from?
Wrong.
All right.
Like, this was just boring. I didn't know the rules. I didn't know, even in the build-up, that it was supposed to be an MMA thing.
Right, it's like, if I wanted to watch MMA, I would watch MMA. But you know what I'm here for? I'm here for wrestling. So
I'm
show
here
me
for wrestling. I'm here for a 6-foot-tall guy dressed as a dinosaur fighting a 5'5" man dressed as a leprechaun, or some shit like that. Not actual fighting.
Right. I'm here to watch people jump off tables and
I would have
push each
watched
other
the
through the
Jake Paul
crowd.
boxing match if I cared about that.
Exactly.
I didn't.
Which shows that I didn't care.
Yeah. So after that mess, they presented Gunther versus Drew McIntyre for the WWE Intercontinental Championship. I think this probably was my second favorite match of the night.
Okay, yeah.
Gunther is on track to become the longest reigning Intercontinental Champion of all time. I think, if I remember correctly, sometime in September, he's going to pass the Honky Tonk Man's record. Let me
That's
just Google that right quick.
Quite the impressive reign.
Yeah, it's like Honky Tonk Man had the longest Intercontinental title reign at he had a 454-day reign as champion.
Okay.
Gunther has to remain Intercontinental Champion until September 7th to break the Honky Tonk Man's record.
That's less than a month away. I feel like that could happen unless he loses
it
at the next pay-per-view.
Here's the sound of me knocking on wood.
I heard it. It was light, but I heard it.
So the world of podcast will hear it too. I love Gunther. He's just strong. He's big. He's power. But he doesn't wrestle like the typical big guy. He doesn't wrestle like a Brock Lesnar. He still does drop kicks and other moves than just suplexes, punches, and chops, you know?
Right. I will say there were a lot of chops during that match.
Gunther has one of the most impressive chest chops in like the business.
Chop City.
Chop City, bitch. The only other person who has a better chop, Nature Boy Ric Flair. That's his signature. Yeah, I think Gunther's gonna hold this title for a while, and like he could elevate it from the mid-card title it is to a potential main event title in the near future.
Oh wow.
Like if there was ever a show they didn't book Seth Rollins' world title or Roman didn't show up for it, you could put a Gunther IC title match as a main event and it would do numbers.
Yeah.
Like this guy's just impressive. I will say I did think Drew McIntyre was going to win the title because we haven't seen Drew since WrestleMania. Why would you bring him back into this high-profile title match to have him lose? But it just adds more to the legend of Gunther's title, right?
Right. It really kind of solidifies it and kind of proves that he's worthy in a way.
Exactly.
Yeah.
He's beaten the former WWE champion twice for this, like to retain this title. He beat him at WrestleMania and he beat him here at SummerSlam.
Right.
Like, Gunther is just impressive.
Yeah, impressive for sure.
There's this other wrestling company called Impact Wrestling, and they implement this thing called Option C. And what that is they have this title called the X Division Championship. If you hold the X Division title for a certain amount of time, you can vacate it and challenge for the World Heavyweight title. That's what Option C is. I think it would be kind of cool if they implemented something like that with Gunther's IC title. He vacates it so he never loses it, but he has the record for the longest title reign, and then he's able to go after Seth or Roman.
That would be really cool. It's kind of like almost trading in like a long title reign for a chance at a new one.
Like, he's held it. He's consistently been winning. He should be challenging for this title. I will give this up to make it happen. That would be sick.
That would be very sick.
So we've got 4 more matches to go through, rapid fire, in about 10 minutes, my boy.
All right, let's get to it.
Next up, we've got Seth freaking Rollins defending his World Heavyweight Championship against Finn Balor. A few years ago at SummerSlam, they introduced the WWE Universal title. The first two people to ever fight for that title were Seth Rollins and Finn Balor. Finn Balor won that match at SummerSlam, becoming the inaugural WWE Universal Champion. He separated his shoulder during the match and was forced to vacate the title 1 day later on Monday Night Raw.
He vacated it to Seth, right?
So he vacated it, and a lot of people thought Seth was going to win it then, but I'm pretty sure it was Kevin Owens.
Oh, okay.
Seth eventually won the title, but he was like the third or fourth guy to hold it.
But it was because of Seth that Finn got injured.
Yes.
Right.
So in this match at SummerSlam, it was 7 years ago.
Right, because Finn had like the 7 like face paint sort of on his not face paint, like body paint on his arm, like his shoulder.
Written over where he got the injury to Seth in that match. And then when Seth, so
deep here.
Right. And then when Seth came out to the ring and took off his big Elton John, Lady Gaga looking jacket, he had on the vest he wore to the ring in that title match. That's long-form storytelling, baby.
I know. We love that. We love that so much.
I really think they dropped the ball with the ending of this match. I thought Finn was going to win the title.
Right. I really felt that too. They've really been building it up.
Senior Money in the Bank, Damian Priest was going to cash in on Finn Balor, effectively making Damian Priest the World Heavyweight Champion and the new leader of the Judgment Day, kicking Finn out of the group.
Right.
That would have been so friggin' cool. Yeah. But instead we got a little bit of a clusterfuck ending. Who hit who with the briefcase? Who did what?
Right.
And
I will say,
what?
Sorry, I will say I am excited to see like where the Finn versus Damian stuff kind of goes. Because they've definitely been teasing it. So it'll be interesting to see what the final payoff is.
I would like that match, but I take this with a grain of salt. Allegedly, the main event of Payback is going to be a triple threat for the World Heavyweight title, Balor versus Priest versus Rollins.
Oh.
That could be so good.
Could be good.
Balor wins or Seth wins, Damian's not involved in the pinfall, cashes in and wins.
Immediately. Yeah.
Yeah, that'd be sick.
I like that.
Next up, we have the triple threat match for the WWE Women's Championship. Asuka defending her title against Bianca Belair and Charlotte Flair. Triple threat match. This is where I started to fall asleep because of how bored I was watching this pay-per-view.
Oh, man.
The mysterious benefactor, RDS, let me know that this was probably one of his least favorite matches of the night.
Gotcha.
I guess there was a moment, full disclosure, I did not watch this or the Tribal Combat. I guess there was a moment where Bianca Belair did not get hit with a moonsault like she was supposed to and sold it anyway.
I can't remember that part. There was a different Bianca Belair moment that I do remember, but I don't think it was that one.
With it.
So part of this, like the ending for the match was Bianca got tossed out of the ring by Charlotte Flair, and she landed, and it sounded very hard on the steel steps. Like I wasn't sure like if it was like a serious injury or not, because they weren't showing the footage, and like they kept cutting away to the announcers, and it also sounded like very hard. So medical team came out and she was kind of getting dragged away while the match was going on, and then she kind of broke free of the clutches of the doctors to come in and like
those cursed doctors and their clutches.
How dare they? To come in and hit a move. Even after she had gotten injured. So I thought that was pretty impressive. Either just selling, getting hurt that badly, or if she actually was hurt. But
I read a thing online that the injury was all part of the match. To
so she
kind of set up, fooled a lot of people. to kind of set up the next thing that happened, which was Io Sky cashing in her women's Money in the Bank contract on Bianca, who won the title.
That's right. Bianca was holding it for about a minute.
So, because of Io Sky cashing in, which she won the title in 8 seconds, Bianca Belair was already the longest reigning women's champion in history. She's also now the shortest reigning women's champion in history.
She holds both
because of Io
records.
Sky's cash in, which is impressive.
Yeah.
She's also held every women's single title in WWE.
Nice. Yeah, I thought that was such a good cash-in moment for Io Sky. Like,
I love
glad
Io
it was
Sky.
successful. Yeah.
Oh my god, I was so glad when she won the Money in the Bank.
Yeah, that was a good match too. The women's Money in the Bank match.
Oh yeah, I love when a person. This was the first time in several years that the men's Money in the Bank was all people who never held the world title before. Which was how it kind of always used to be.
Right.
But then,
because the whole point of it is like they give you a shot at winning.
Yeah, whenever you want, which is always cool. Yeah. So, there were a couple women who had won Money in the Bank in the Money in the Bank, but I was glad Io Sky won it. I thought that was cool, and I was glad to see she successfully cashed in, which I think brings the women's Money in the Bank cash-in rate to 100% success.
Right. I think
the person who's won it has successfully cashed in.
Yeah.
And now, last but not least, a very brief discussion on the Tribal Combat match for the undisputed WWE Universal Championship and recognition of Tribal Chief of the Anawahi family.
And this match was 36 minutes long.
Oh my god. And if I remember correctly, the women's match, when I went to bed, it was already like 11 o'clock.
Yeah, it was a long night.
Oh my god.
Yeah.
Yeah, I heard Jimmy Uso interfered to cost Jay the title match.
Yeah, I was not expecting that at all. I kind of expected who's Roman Reigns is like buddy.
Oh, Solo Sikoa.
Yeah, I was expecting him to show up at some point, even though they were like, "Oh, he got incapacitated," but I was like, "Nah, he's probably going to come out." But I was not expecting Jay to show up and kind of turn on his twin like that. So,
right.
Sorry, I wasn't expecting Jimmy to show up and turn on Jay.
No, you're good. I mix them up all the time. They're twins. A lot of people were really disappointed in this match.
I mean, I was not expecting Roman to drop his title. Like, I feel like that's not going to happen at a match like this.
Here's the thing. They've been building Jimmy Uso as the person who could beat Roman for the longest time, and then to have him not beat Roman, they don't have anyone realistically that could take the title off of Roman now, unless Solo or Jimmy go after him.
Interesting.
I think the main event of Payback is probably going to be an Uso Civil War.
Oh, kind of
Jimmy
like
versus Jay.
Kind of like that Bloodline Civil War.
Yeah, I think Jay is going to be so pissed at his brother for double crossing him that either the two of them are going to face each other, or Jimmy is the next person to challenge Roman for the title.
Interesting.
But I'm not into the Roman Reigns title reign. It's boring. It's the same thing every pay-per-view.
Yeah. You said it best. It's kind of becoming the same thing.
It's the same friggin' thing every time. Solo and Uso, Paul Heyman. One point it was Sami Zayn. Someone is going to interfere, and Roman is going to get the victory. There's no point in even giving him an opponent.
Right.
That's my mini rant on why I think the Roman Reigns title reign is stupid.
Rant over.
Oh, man. And with that, ladies and gentlemen, that brings us to the end of the inaugural episode of Welcome to Slamtown.
Woo!
Thank you for joining us on this brief tour through Great American Bash and SummerSlam 2023. We'll see you
We
guys
hope you
next
had
time.
a lovely time. Thank you.
Thanks for joining us. Have a beautiful time, everyone.
Bye-bye.
Bye.